Okay, so let me say this real quick, and then I'm gonna start the video. I'll probably watch like the first 10 seconds of it, so I don't know what he's gonna say as far as in depth, into his conversation. But let me say this: it's about the Ime Udoka situation because I recorded this already, man, and I don't feel like doing that long ass. All right, so when this Ime Udoka situation came about, I didn't know anything at first, and I really wasn't. The only thing I could think about at the time was, it was another man, it's another black man that's done in by his own hubris, by his own poor decision making. Just it's another man down. Bites the dust. There you go. Bites the dust. So it was kind of like a somber moment, man, because I was expecting better things from Ime Udoka this year. Um, I had some criticism about his coaching decisions, especially in the playoffs. I didn't think he did as good enough of a job, and I'm talking at all. Like, I'm not saying at all. Let me not say that. I'm gonna say throughout the entire playoffs, I've had issues with the way he was coaching. Um, but he was able to get them to the finals. He was able to, propel them to a point that Brad Stevens couldn't get them to. Um, but this is why this situation doesn't make any sense. There's two different scenarios in my head. All right, let me be quick about this. The first scenario is I don't know how many women he's actually slept with. I don't really care about that. What I care about is the not the minor, but like the major details of the story, which being that he had sex with the VP. I know that for sure. He had sex with the VP's wife. All right, which is, I mean, how many people has the balls to fuck the boss's girl? Like it's not something you see happen very often. So, I don't know Ime Udoka, but I would assume that this is a man with class. Um, I'm assuming because he worked with Popovich, and we know how Popovich is about the environments that he builds around his teams, and I'm pretty sure that his coaches, even more than the players, would have to abide by certain etiquettes. Now, I'm not saying that he can't be a bad decision maker, feigning being responsible for the sake of his job. But if he could do it there, when you get a better opportunity, why would you think that it's a good idea to have relations with your boss's wife? Doesn't make any sense. So the first scenario is Ime Udoka. He did it. He let his hubris get the best of him, and he had sex with this lady. And when the VP found out about it, you can't just fire the black coach, especially the black coach that was successful. You can't just fire him. You can't just fire him. You would take all kinds of backlash. I mean, these black groups, I mean, they ain't shit, but I know one thing for sure. If they see an opportunity to make some fucking money by making an upward, they're going to do it. So, that seems like the perfect opportunity to get yourself fired. Look at all the owners that had to sell their teams because of their actions. So you can't just fire the guy. Okay? You would have to demonize him in the media. It would have to be a complete shit show. Like, you would have to throw all kinds of dirt on his name to get the fan base okay with you letting him go. That's the only reason why I could see you suspending him for a year, but not firing him. Because if you're going to suspend him for an entire season, you might as well just let him go. I mean, and just move forward with this dude. I mean, you're losing a whole year that he had with this team. He's going to miss out. At that point, he would have to start all over once he comes back anyway. I'm pretty sure this Joe Mazzulla, I'm pretty sure he has a different coaching style, a different way of doing things. And to get the players used to Udoka first, and then you bring in this Joe Mazzulla guy. Now they have to get used to him and the way he does things. And just to go back to Ime Udoka next year, and they have to relearn all this other shit too. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. You're better off firing them, right? The other scenario, Okay, this is another Mark Jackson situation. Okay, remember Mark Jackson in Golden State. All right. Now I know there were reports talking about how Mark Jackson was not seeing eye to eye with the front office. He was bumping heads. Even Draymond Green came out and said, if Mark Jackson would have stayed here, my career would have been over because of the way he was using me. I get that. But you cannot deny the results. Mark Jackson had that team trending upward. Trending upward. When Steph first got to the Golden State Warriors, they were a bottom of the barrel team. They had moments here and there, but they consistently, missed the playoffs. And then they hired Mark Jackson. Year after year, he gradually got that team to a point where they were competitive. And after a season where they won 50 games, and I think they lost to the Spurs, but they gave the Spurs the fight of their life. I believe it was the Spurs. Boom, he gets axed. They bring in Steve Kerr, and that very next year they go on to win the NBA Finals. And I've been a huge proponent of Mark Jackson got that team to play defense, to move the ball effectively. I think the only thing that Steve Kerr did was he allowed them to shoot. He gave them the green light. Mark Jackson comes from a period, all right, where the point guards or the guards on the team, the point guards, they were mostly facilitators. They wasn't out there jacking up fucking three. Nobody was jacking up 3-pointers. It was pass, pass, pass. If you get a good shot inside, you get it into your big men. If not, you try to generate the best shot possible. You play hard-nosed defense. You play hard-nosed defense. You stay on your man. You get the job done. All right? It's different levels. It's different aspects to the game of basketball, and you got to pay attention to all of them. Okay? Just to move over to Kerr, who was a three-point shooter. Kerr was known for his three-point shooting. He wasn't a passer. He wasn't a defender. He wasn't the most athletic. His thing was he was a spot-up shooter. Okay? Mark Jackson had all the other things. He wasn't the phenomenal shooter or great three-point shooter like Kerr was. He played defense. He was a facilitator. I mean, during the rivalry between Reggie Miller and the Indiana Pacers versus the Patrick Ewing and the Knicks, I mean, Mark Jackson, I think he left New York or the Clippers. He left somewhere. He got traded from a team to the Pacers, and he was the de facto leader of that team. He was the glue guy. And even Reggie Miller said when we got him, I knew we had a chance. Because he was going to bring a different style to the team and help them get over the hump eventually. But he did a great job with that Golden State Warriors team. He did a great job with them. Okay, he did a great job with them. And when he was finally about to reap in the benefits, they gradually got better. They were I think they had 56 wins. They were close. And right before he was able to see the fruits of his labor pay off, they got him out of there. Why did they get him out of there? Because he was bumping heads with the front office. He had a way of doing things. He wasn't just going to allow them to put whoever they wanted on the staff. He wasn't going to allow them to dictate to him how he was to coach the team. Because when these front office dudes hire these coaches, they're vetting them, and they're vetting them hard. They're asking them a million fucking questions. They want to know where their mind is at, and they want to know where they're going to take this team. And if they felt comfortable with hiring them a few years before they won the NBA Finals, then they should have been fine. It should have been fine. And I wouldn't think it's out of realm of possibility that Draymond Green had something to do with Mark Jackson getting fired. Because on the rare occasions where Steph Curry do talk about Mark Jackson, it's always in a positive light. It's always in a positive light. The only person that has come out and said something against Mark Jackson that I've seen, if there's probably more, is Draymond Green. He's the only dude. I would not be surprised if he had something to do with this as well. Okay, so, but this feels like either it's the other thing or this feels like another Mark Jackson situation where this dude gets this team playing at a level that even the coach before him could not get them to play at, Brad Stevens. And now I know Joe Mazzulla is quote unquote technically a black guy, but I think they're trying to prep this squad for their next coach. It feels like it. I can't explain it. I don't understand why they would suspend this dude for a year instead of just firing him. It just doesn't make any sense. There has to be something to this. Even if I'm wrong on both of those scenarios, there's something here that we're all missing that nobody knows what's going on but the people inside that building. But and I wouldn't be surprised, these coaches and these players, when they're signing these contracts, it has a built-in NDA. I would not be fucking surprised. But let's watch this video a little bit.
There is a brother who was the coach of the Boston Celtics. He has a very black name. Y'all know his name?
Ime Udoka.
Ime Udoka. When I heard they had a black man named Ime Udoka coaching the Boston Celtics, I knew he was in trouble. I was like, they gave him the job? So a lot of times when championships are about to happen, they fire the black coach and bring in their guy. Tony Dungy, they fired him. That team won the championship the next year because Tony Dungy built the team. Mark Jackson built the Golden State Warriors.
Well, that's not actually factual right there. They won a championship with Tony Dungy. But then the coach that they had come in was Jim Caldwell, who was also a black man. But it doesn't make any sense because Tony Dungy was a company guy. Tony Dungy was, let me say this, Tony Dungy was the house Negro. You know, that's how some people would, he was like Donovan McNabb. He was the guy that was like anything the big wigs needed to happen or anything that they needed from him, he was more than happy to oblige. You know, it's almost like he was a robot, you know? Like, even sometimes when you watch Tony Dungy, he seems like a really nice guy, not very genuine. There have been multiple times where he's been doing media spots on TV and covering a certain game. Whenever it's the New England Patriots, Tony Dungy is so fake. It's ridiculous how artificial he is, right? So they were playing a team. I forgot what team it was, but it was a good team that the Patriots were playing on Sunday night, right? And Tony Dungy said, "I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to pick the team that New England was playing. I'm going to pick them to beat the New England Patriots." And Rodney Harrison looked at him like, "What do you mean go out on a limb? Every time New England is brought up, you always pick against them." Like, because that's just, Tony Dungy is one of the most disingenuous people I've seen that puts on a smile, and he seems like a nice guy, but, I mean, he seems like one of those passive-aggressive types, so... But he was the company guy. So if they were going to move on from somebody, I would think that Tony Dungy would be somebody they would bring in. But a lot of times, man, when it comes to coaches, because they never like to portray certain people, especially certain black people, in a certain light. Like, let's look at Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch, right? During that Super Bowl, people keep saying, why would you pass it in that situation? Why would you do this? And I've always said, well, if you listen to what Pete Carroll said, it actually makes sense. When they bring in their jumbo guys, that means the big dudes to cover the goal line stuff. That means they're going full force at the run game. And they've already stopped Marshawn twice at the line. So they were coming in to stop him again. So Pete Carroll thought throwing the ball in that situation, you would catch him off guard. But Bill Belichick, being the genius that he is, was ready for it. All right? But this is what I really think that was about. Marshawn, all week, during the media scramble for the Super Bowl, he was telling them, "I'm just here so I don't get fined." That was his thing. That was one of the most legendary quotes from an NFL player I think ever. I mean, it's up there with the Herm Edwards and Jim Mora stuff like that. That was one hell of a soundbite, right? But that made the NFL look bad. And whoever was going to score that touchdown to beat the Patriots, they were going to be the MVP. Because the fans would have voted on it. They would have been the MVP, right? Or they would have been, hey, I got the game-winning touchdown. You know, it's a big day for me. They did not want that to be Marshawn. They did not want to give, even if Marshawn would have won the Super Bowl, they did not want to give him that touchdown. They did not want to give him the spotlight in that way. Because that would be, it's like when you have a kid that's hard-headed as fuck. Hard-headed. And the one thing you don't want to do is reward bad behavior in your eyes. Right? Whatever you consider to be bad behavior, you don't want to reward it. And that's what the NFL wanted to do. They wanted to propel Russell Wilson up. And plus, this was when the NFL was in the transition to become a pass-heavy, league. So that's what I think it was really about. It was about propelling the quarterback, but also putting Marshawn in his place. But yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with that. I don't think that the Tony Dungy thing had anything to do with that because they turned around and hired a black man afterwards. So.
With them people, he was part of picking the personnel and everything. They got rid of him, let Steve Kerr get the shine. They thought they was gonna do it with the Nets when they unqualified as Steve are about to happen. That team won the championship the next year because Tony Dungy built the personnel and everything.
All right, so with the Mark Jackson thing, I don't know how long he was there. Hold on. Actually, let me look that up real quick. Give me a second. All right, I got the numbers right in front of me. All right, so Mark Jackson got there in 2011. His first year there, they won 23 games, which is a 13-game drop-off, right? But then the next year, they had a 24-game turnaround. 24-game turnaround. Which has to be up there. I know the Celtics had a 42-game turnaround, but they had a 24-game turnaround the next season in 2012. They lost in the conference semifinals, so they was able to make it to the second round and lost. And then the next year, they got up to 51 wins. They lost in the first round. I believe they lost to the Spurs, if I'm not mistaken. Let me. Real quick, let me look at that team. Gotta pull it up. Playoffs. Schedule and results. Here we go. All right. Oh, they lost to the Clippers. All right, they lost to the Clippers. That first round. And I believe the year before, 2013, they lost. I'm sorry, I'm just looking this up real quick. Give me a second. They lost to the San Antonio Spurs, yeah. It was a 4-2 series. But the one game that they lost in double overtime by 2 points. So this easily could have been, if they would have still lost, it easily could have been a 4-3 series, or they would have they could have had a chance to beat them. It was competitive. So all right, so they, but they got better over time. He was, trying to figure out. This is not a knock on Steve Kerr. But I'm of the mind that in sports, defense is just as important. Ball movement is just as important as shooting. Okay? Now, did he, implement a style that allowed them to pretty much play freely and shoot as much as they wanted? Yeah, because that's where the league was trending. That's where they wanted the league to get to. More offense means more casual fans, means more money generated. So, that was the case.
Everything. They got rid of him, let Steve Kerr get the shine. They thought they was going to do it with the Nets when they gave unqualified ass Steve Nash the job because they thought with that squad a championship was an alley-oop. But they couldn't win because of Steve Nash because he don't know what the fuck he doing. Steve Nash, you can't win with a coach where a nigga be at. Steve Nash found out.
And let me say this. Do I think that this is no doubt the reason why Ime got suspended so he could get replaced by a white coach? If that was the case, Joe Mazzulla wouldn't be the coach. So I don't know how invested I am into this notion, but this does happen. And I'm not one to play the race card. I don't like it, to be honest. Like, it feels like a cheap cop-out. All right? But these things happen, man. These things happen. They happen. Far more than I would like to acknowledge, but they happen.
Now, his baby was black at the hospital. When that little black baby came out, that little pink pussy, they got rid of Mr. Richardson. He was not allowed to be on the Suns no more. Do anybody know this story?
No.
That Duncan motherfucker from Michigan State was
That's the baby's dad.
Oh, Jason Richardson? Was it that one?
What?
long stroking Miss Nash or whoever the bitch is.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Everybody forgot about that shit.
Yeah. I remember that.
Steve Nash was at that hospital.
That's not. That reminds me of that situation with Mike Conley, where his baby came out pale as fucking snow, man. Like, oh my god, bruh. Like, how are you okay with that? And from what I understand, speculations was Chandler Parsons when he was in Memphis. The rumor was he was the guy that was having sex with Mike Conley's girl or whatever. Mike Conley had a kid, man, and that kid was white, Snow White. God damn, bruh. But apparently he stuck in there, man, and he took care of that kid, bruh. Better man than me, I guess.
That baby came out like, Daddy. He was like, oh, fuck. That baby didn't say Daddy. He said, Daddy? Yeah. Question mark? Right.
And let me say this, man. People give the WNBA a lot of shit about the lesbian shit that be going on, about how they be turning girls out there and shit like that. It's like prison up in that motherfucker. But NBA locker rooms is kind of the same way. I mean, I don't know about, them doing any homosexual shit, but I do know that they be up in there fraternizing like Delonte West fucking around with LeBron's mom. Like, it's a hectic environment, man. But when you got a bunch of fit guys, all right, and you have female family members or a girl, it's best to keep them away from that kind of environment, man. Don't have your teammates coming to your house for no holidays. Don't allow your girlfriends or your wives to fucking fraternize too close. Like, I don't understand why this is not a thing. Why you allow your girlfriend to have men should not have female friends. Women should not have male friends. It's just too fucking complicated. It's too. Men and women cannot be friends platonically. Because at some point, they're going to become an option. And you just don't want that to happen where your significant other has the opposite sex as friends. I mean, I don't know.
Right, Papa.
You had Jason Kidd with Milwaukee, because remember Jason Kidd got Giannis on point. You know what I mean? The minute they start looking good, they fired Jason Kidd for nothing.
Yeah. I know what they do with these black coaches.
That is a good point. That's a good point. Jason Kidd actually got that Milwaukee team up and going. And this is before Budenholzer got there. Because Mike Budenholzer was still in Atlanta trying to get that team over the hump. They was getting the number 1 seed, but they was getting knocked out in the first round. And then, Jason Kidd was able to get Giannis to a place where, he was looking good, man. And then he got forced the fuck out of there. And they put Budenholzer there. So that's a good point. But it seems like Jason Kidd is having some terrific luck with Dallas right now. He was able to get that team to the Western Conference Finals, which is big ups to him. But I would not be surprised, given a year from now, they fire him again and they put somebody else in that position. It happens a lot more often than people want to acknowledge.
Yeah.
So now there's a lot of scandal behind this sucker-ass way they got rid of this black coach. Let me say this before we get into some of the facts that I heard. Let me tell you something. Ladies, I know you don't like this, but I'm going to tell you. If a man has an NBA coaching job, if he's a head coach of an NBA team, he fucking bitches.
Real tough.
Yep, especially on the road, man, stuff like that. When you're away from home, it's happening. Now, a lot of girls or a lot of women who are dating pro athletes that have really good relationships with their pro athletes and they're not looking to break up anytime soon, they know this happens. It's going to happen at some fucking point. So the only thing that you can do is, all right, just don't father no kids. Don't bring nothing back here that I'm going to have to suffer. That's going to make me suffer. And just keep it at that. Like I had a cousin years ago, back when I was living with my grandmother. He had a girlfriend who, they were young. They were getting closer and closer. And then he was about to go somewhere out of town. And she wanted to go with him. But a female cousin of mine told her, listen, he going, he'll be back. Don't worry about if he fucks somebody, while he away. Just know that as long as he come back to you, that's all that matters. As long as he don't bring nothing back with him, don't worry about it. And it was a good point. It was a good point, man, because, look, people are going to cheat. Monogamy is not natural, man. I don't believe it's natural. It's really hard for people, even me. Look, I think it's stupid to sneak around people behind their back. Sneak around on people behind their back. I think it's stupid. It's dumb. It's dumb. But people are going to do it. People are going to do it. It's going to happen. Monogamy is some shit that was pushed so that way Valentine's Day, Christmas, all these different holidays where you're around family and loved ones, right? Where you're spending a lot of money on people, man, and plus marriage, they need these things to take place, man. So money can be spent, man. They need money, bro. All this shit has to do with money. If something don't make fucking sense, look at the money involved, and that's why it's happening. So I don't think monogamy is a real thing. People are gonna fucking cheat. I don't even think it's fair to call it cheating. Just you're exploring. Like, that's it, man. Like, as long as you're not having illegitimate kids or you're not catching some kind of STD and you're bringing it back to your partner at home, I don't know. I don't see a problem with it.
Yes, sir.
Man, real talk.
Yes, sir. If you had, go ahead.
I was just saying he keep a team both ways.
If you got an NBA coaching job,
You have power, especially if you're good at it. If you're good at the job, women love powerful men. But it's different to have power when you're not successful though. Like to be a dude in charge, but you're in charge of a losing situation. It doesn't have the same effect as somebody that is great at what they do, but they also have the power to go along with it. It's a different vibe, man. And a lot of women like that shit, man. And a lot of these white girls, man, they like black dudes, man. They like black dudes. It's almost like one of those forbidden fruit type things. I think that's what it is, man. I think that's what it is. It's like, it's taboo almost. But a lot of these white girls, they like black men. They love black men, and they love black, powerful, successful men. And Ime is a successful head coach. And head coaches, they have the power, they have the sway. They don't have as much power as them niggas in the front office, but shit, I mean, it's enough. Like, apparently it's enough.
You fucking bitches. That's what come with making it to the top of coaching in America. I don't know what Nia Long might have thought, but you got a light-skinned man. You wasn't his husband. He ain't choose you like that. But you got a light-skinned man coaching the Boston Celtics, and you think he ain't fucking hoe. I'm talking about.
Especially with the way that woman looked, man. I mean, I was watching this episode of Atlanta last week, and this homely looking woman, white woman, later in the episode you found out she was racist, but in the beginning of the episode, she was staring at her black neighbor who was coming home from work, I think, or going out to work. And he walked past her, and she was staring at him with the fuck me eyes. So a lot, and I believe that's factual, man. Like a lot of these unattractive women who not even in their wildest fucking dreams would be able to pull somebody like that. They're willing to give it up. They're willing to give it up a lot easier. Homely looking women and fat women, they're willing to give it up a lot easier, man. A lot fucking easier. So, to be honest, man, he probably just like if it was a thing that he initiated, he probably just gave her a little look or gave her some kind of added attention, nothing too much, nothing too crazy, and she probably bit that shit, hungry, bit it, took the bait, man, like, and she wanted it too. She wanted it. I mean, this doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would have to force somebody. I don't know, so.
About the best of us, some of the best men in the world who build whole neighborhoods, who help people learn how to eat right. All of the people, you need to know, we gon' fuck these hoes.
And that definitely ain't no regular lifestyle. That lifestyle right there, ooh.
I'm talking about men who I know have saved thousands. You want to call him a bad guy because he fuck hoes? You call him a bad guy. But hoes gonna get fucked. Hoes gonna get fucked.
Damn.
I hate how they try to villainize niggas that fuck with.
And that's the only issue I have with this. This was considered consensual sex. Okay? It wasn't like some R. Kelly shit, like he put a noose around her neck and made her sleep in a closet or some shit. It's nothing like that. All right? This was consensual sex between two consenting adults. Now, she's married, which makes it wrong in the eyes of the law, but it was two consenting adults having consensual sex. And he's the only one, like, everybody's talking about this dude. You know, you have the woke females who are also feminists trying to go after this nigga, man. I mean, what about the women, bro? What about, like, let's just focus on the VP's wife. What about her and her decisions? Because he didn't force her to do it, so that means she did it of her own free will. She did this. Why is she not being dragged? Now, see, the flip side of this, with everything being so public and on the internet, is the internet they will seek out the justice somehow. And they will go after whoever they feel is also wrong or complicit or who is truly wrong in a situation, and they will go after him. So I don't know, man. I feel like he's being demonized, like hardcore. You know, they're looking at this nigga like I mean, he was making his chick drink pee out of a straw or some shit, man. Like it's weird, man. Like the way that they're treating this dude.
You, Dr. Russell, y'all be good, man. I'll see y'all soon,
Good to
man.
see you again.
Love you, man. We gotta have you on the show. About to talk about these hoes. Yeah, look.
It's only been, what, in the last 60 years it's been normal for dudes not to, like, before 40 years ago, a dude going out getting some pussy, that was like, whatever. That's just John Henry. That wasn't nothing to think about. It's really, it ain't even been 2 generations past. That's not normal. Now this motherfucker's getting fired, and he ain't even married?
If your man come
Yeah,
home
but
every
that has
night,
to do with him, and I think, sorry.
And that's that right there. That's what I'm saying. And that's why I think my female cousin, she had a point. If he's coming back to you, there's no reason for you to get bent out of shape. He gonna go out, he gonna do whatever he wanna do. You making a big deal out of this is only ruining what you and him got. It ain't ruining his fun once he leaves, because it's nothing to, like, if he's able to go out there and do that shit while y'all together, it's nothing to him to break up with you and just go out and do it anyway. And if you really care about him and you really love him, you let him do that. Now, I don't want to be a hypocrite and say it's okay for men to do that, not women. It's just different, bruh. It's different. Because a lot of these females, man, they go out here, they have unprotected sex with somebody, they get themselves fucking pregnant, and now you're taking care, or she's trying to get you to take care of somebody else's kid. That's what makes it different when women do it. It's because there's so many things that could go fucking wrong. So
Nia
No, go ahead.
Long's relationship, I believe it has the internal stuff on that other staff thing and who that woman was with.
Cause he.
oh, the brother got set up. Let's talk about that in a second. But I just
don't think
want
that has anything to do with him messing around on his woman.
all you women have got to understand this. If your man come home every night, that is the ultimate respect he can pay.
for real. For real. Like, if he's coming back to you, where you live is where he lay his head. You spend a majority of your time with him. He spends the majority of his time with you. That's commitment. That is as much commitment as you're gonna get nowadays, man. I don't see. This is why monogamy needs to be done away with. People need to stop getting married and just have regular fucking relationships. Men definitely need to start taking care of themselves, man, because we keep putting ourselves in these situations where we're being raked through the coals, man. Whether it's failed marriages, cheating scandals, whatever, man. Like, we're being fucking destroyed right now. In the relationship game, we're being fucking destroyed. And at some point, man, men just gotta stop putting themselves in that situation.
For you, because this bitch is he fucking doing way better than you, and he still leave the better situation. It's bitches I'm fucking bitches live in castles. Couple of bitches I got some castle dwelling bitches. You ain't seen all my bitches, nigga. Oh, you.
He said White Castle.
He said castle dwelling bitches, bro. That's stupid.
He got
White
enchanted
Castle.
pussy.
Did you say White Castle?
White Castle.
They work at White Castle.
I got some of them too.
The highest you got is middle class.
Marcus was like, where? I want to go there.
White Castle.
The highest
If
you got-
your man come home every night, that motherfucker is paying you the highest respect in the world. But you and your pussy will not stop healthy dick from exploring lost hoes.
You see? It's not cheating, it's exploring. That's all it is, bro. You're going out and it's different, man. Monogamy has pretty much killed relationships. It killed them. You know, because now there's this expectation. You know, so it's killing relationships. But I forgot what I was gonna say after that. All right.
It's not gonna stop. You can get mad at me. You can say, "Oh, Corey, a hater." What? Bitch, your daddy and your mama ain't together, cause that dick will not be strapped down.
That's what I was gonna say. What's the line? It's so demeaning to women, but what's the line? And I believe this shit is very true. You show me a good-looking woman, and I'll show you a dude that's tired of fucking her, and that's because that's just commitment is hard for humans, man. I don't think commitment is a natural thing. Anything that's that is hard for humans to be able to do consistently. I'm talking across, like, not just one group of people. I'm talking everybody seems to have this problem with committing and staying faithful. It's an issue because they can't do it. That means this shit is not supposed to be going on, bro. If everybody is having that much of an issue with this, why is it happening all the time? That's because innately, like it's almost like the human spirit is pushing against this idea. So I don't know, man. So when it comes to cheating, man, I'm very against that term. I don't like it too much.
In that house.
Strap down.
That's why your dad and your mom ain't together. Your mama could not hold that dick down in the house.
Is that the woman? They done found her picture, huh?
Oh,
That's the woman?
Apparently, they said, all right, when it first came out, they said Alison Feaster was the woman that Amy was one of the women that Amy was having sex with. Twitter started destroying her, but then it came out that she wasn't the one. So, to be honest, this is why I'm only focusing on the VP because that's the only thing that stayed consistent in the story.
that's
one. I thought
that's
there
one
were
of them. He
two.
was fucking a little black bitch too, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's the VP's wife right there. From what I understand, that's the only one that we know for sure that he's had relations with.
But
Yeah.
which is that the?
But this is the one that they said that he had relationships with. He had a relationship with, but apparently he didn't. I'm not sure until the shit come out and everything is disclosed. I'm not sure about her. So
Which one he was smitten with? Because somebody was saying he's.
I think he got caught with the black one.
What, is the white one?
He didn't?
Which
He
one
got
did
caught
take?
with which one?
That's why
The white one.
Yes.
Now,
and that's what I think. That's what I think did him in. Because if he was having sex with the, I think she's like a assistant or some shit. If he was just having sex with her, this wouldn't have been a big deal. But he got caught fucking the boss's girl, man. The boss's wife, man. Like, that's a major deal. That's a major deal. And his punishment reeks of animosity and a vendetta.
listen, Udoka. Is his name Udoka?
Called him Udoka. Okay.
Udoka.
That's his
Okie
last
dokie,
name.
listen to me.
Hey, Dickie.
Oh, that's terrible.
Listen, okie dokie, listen.
Okie dokie. I like that.
Listen, all black men, please listen to me.
Oh, God.
You can't fuck the white hoes at your job.
And this is why I'm thinking something's not right about this. Like, anybody with common sense, and Ime strikes me as a dude that can think, okay, why would you have sex with your boss's wife? That is such a ballsy move. And you being a successful black head coach don't mean shit when it comes to you fucking your superior's significant other.
You can't do it. You're going to lose your position. The white men at your job are not going to stand by and let you fuck pussy that they dream of fucking. It's not going to happen.
Or that was already theirs, because wasn't that?
There you go. She's on the money with it. It had nothing to do with them wanting the woman. It's that she already was somebody's betrothed. So And not only just somebody, it was his boss's wife. That's what made the situation a lot worse.
Both of them, both those women that he messed around with were married?
I don't know who they are, but if he
I don't. If Allison Feaster was the one that he was the other one that he was having sex with, she's not married apparently, but the VP's wife is. Obviously, I just said VP's wife.
mess with a white woman, his job is about to be lost. Okie dokie, listen.
That's terrible.
Boy, I think they say it's a Nigerian name.
Yeah. He was born in Portland, but he Nigerian.
Listen, okie dokie. You can't fuck them white hoes at your job, man. Somebody need to tell him. Will somebody who has some credit in this world call okie dokie and tell him what Corey said was true? Tell him in layman's terms. I don't know how to talk no way but this.
Well, now Matt Barnes is claiming that he is retracting what he initially said until he found out the information. Then he was like, "Oh yeah, buddy."
What? But you know,
do that.
we got to
Can't
figure out
do
what
that.
you're saying. What was the shit Matt Barnes initially said?
I guess he was feeling bad for him and saying, "Why did they let him go?" He didn't know that it was related to the workplace. See what I'm saying?
Matt Barnes is a half-breed. And he'll tell you, you can't fuck white hoes at the job. Well, somebody, can I get somebody to, when
Testify.
Corey said it's bad.
Shit, outside the job neither. Hell,
Gotta watch
No,
out.
sometimes you can sneak and fuck a bitch outside the job. But all you fellas who get jobs in America, you can't fuck the white hoes at your job, especially and let the white man find out. You are going to lose your position. There is a
Oh shit. But yeah, so besides a few inaccuracies here and there, Corey was spot on with this shit, man. And I believe there's something to this. I don't know if it's ever gonna be discovered what the true intentions was behind this whole situation. But I believe if I had to bank on one situation being what it is they had a mutual relationship. People found out, and this was the way his boss could punish him without firing him. Because, like I said, if a white dude fires a black dude, it has to be a great fucking reason. Otherwise, people are gonna just start yelling racist. He's a racist. He's a racist. Brian Flores has fucked the black head coaching job up for people because, I mean, this dude got fired and then he started saying all this shit about people being racist, and he just started going crazy with all these speculations and shit. Like, so, I mean, a lot of these with all these owners in the NBA getting fired, forcing to sell the team to somebody else, I'm pretty sure it's nothing to make a VP step the fuck down and they'll put somebody else in the spot. So the only way that they could get a healthy dose of revenge on this dude was by suspending him for the entire year in the hopes that he'll quit. But even if he doesn't quit, what they want the most is to destroy his reputation. They want to destroy his reputation, which will make it hard for him to get a head coaching job elsewhere. When it comes to these professional sports leagues, these are boys clubs. And I'm not talking about boys clubs trying to keep the women out. I'm talking these are clubs where these are friends. These dudes are friends. They hang out with each other. They go golfing with each other. They do all types of shit with each other. They're friends. All of them know each other. And the only way that you can even get this is why there's no black owners. This is why Oprah don't own a fucking team. Like, you have to get on the end with this shit. You have to get on the end. And it took Jay-Z a long time, man, to even sniff a bit of ownership. Because you have to get in with these people. You know, you got to mingle. You know, you got to build connections, build a network. Okay, so I don't know. It's just hopefully, you know, his reputation stays intact somewhat. This was consensual, man. besides him just betting his boss's wife, I don't think that this should go any further. I'm pretty sure Nia Long is going to cut ties with him. Or not. I mean, shit. We've seen situations that was much worse than this where the woman eventually stayed with the guy anyway, so maybe she'll stay with him. But he was an NBA player. He's been a coach for years. Now he's a head coach. I'm pretty sure, depending on how long they've been together long enough to have a child with each other. So I'm pretty sure she knows what happens. She just don't want that shit to appear at her front door. I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong. What can I say? All right, that's it, man. I'm done.